What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. And even though the UFC took a week off, we did not. I am Matt Anderson. Dorian Rose is on the other side of your screen. And there were no fights this past weekend, but in today's show, we're going to give you some news of what happened over this past week. And then we're going to give you our picks and our breakdown for this upcoming weekend's fights. UFC Fight Night, Stephen Thompson versus Kevin Holland is going to be a banger. It's pretty much a hell of a card, too. But before we get started, if you guys wouldn't mind, give that like button a shooey. Take a few shooeys with the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are not. And leave all your comments down below. We love to hear what you guys think. We love to reply to y'all in the comments. All that good shit. But yeah, man. So off the jump, how you been this past week, dude? No fights this past weekend. So what'd you do?
Just working normally, but had a lot of college football was on Saturday, so there was a lot of big state games going on. It was rivalry week, so Florida State and Florida had a really good game, and I was super excited about that. And then of course Sunday, NFL is normal, just losing my butt off and FanDuel once again. So there they are screwing me on that. But good weekend overall, man. I can't complain.
Yeah. Good news. Good news. Well, hopefully you can win some money this weekend on your UFC bets because I believe there's some money to be made. I'm going to put my pick champ up this week on the line. We got to have three differences. And I believe this week we definitely will, dude. There's tons of different opinions to be had. And I believe me, dude, I've done my research pretty much all damn week. That's nothing what I've been doing since basically Sunday night is just looking up these damn fights. And I can't wait to talk about it. Like when you hit me with hey man, like we can film like fucking Wednesday night instead of Tuesday. I was like, shit, dude, I was ready to go today, but we are filming this on a Wednesday night for you to watch on Thursday. But yeah, man, I guess you want to jump into the news, I guess, right off the jump, or anything else you want to talk about before we get into it?
Nah, man. Let's get into the news because it was unfortunate. Because when we did the pod last week, the news had broke like I think maybe just like a few hours later after we did the podcast. So, unfortunately, we didn't get to talk about it last week.
Yeah, man, but go ahead.
Oh, just as far as Yuri and Glover, I didn't know if you'd want to introduce it or not, but just as far as Yuri, man, he had to end up pulling out of his title fight against Glover Teixeira. For those that you should know by now if you're watching this show, but if not, Yuri Prochazka ended up having a shoulder injury, and apparently, according to Dana White, was the worst that he's ever seen. And whether that's true or not, I'm not too sure. I'm almost wondering if the UFC just kind of just told Yuri like, hey man, just business wise, it's gonna be easier for us to make this vacant title fight with Jan and Magomed if you just go ahead and vacate the title, and whenever you're back, you'll just get a title shot. And they kind of ended up boxing Glover out almost. So I was just I don't want to say I was shocked because when we talked about it, I'd actually mentioned that I'm sure the reason why Glover didn't take the fight was due to against Magomed was due to not having a full camp, and that's a really tough fight. So just unfortunate news for Yuri, man. I know that's one of your favorites to watch, man. So what was the feeling that you felt when the news broke last week?
I've been calling every pay-per-view since maybe 280, maybe. I've been calling it 282 for some reason, dude. So apparently I've been looking forward to this damn card ever since it's been announced, dude. Yuri's one of my favorite fighters. Top 1 to 2 for me, and then 1 to 2 most exciting to watch as well, dude. The dude is a goddamn animal, dude. It's just a blast just to watch him overall. And dude, I was just bummed out. I was like, damn, dude. But I guess like the replacement, it makes sense. Like whoever won that fight was probably going to get like the next title shot anyway. But I guess something else that was also announced that we'll talk about in the news next too, that is also announced like for the division. That's also kind of interesting there. I want to see what happens next, like depending on how long like Yuri's out, like the winner of that fight might actually fight for the title next. But yeah, dude, just overall bummed out. I can see why Glover didn't want to fight Ankalaev. I heard that either he wasn't offered Jan Blachowicz or some shit like that. Jan wasn't offered to him. It was only like fucking Ankalaev, and he was like, "Well, I can't fight him like this soon. I'll fucking need till a few months or whatever." And they're like, "No, we need it for this weekend." So just shitty all around, man. Yeah. Anything else on that one?
Just one thing. Maybe just a little bit of reckless speculation on my part, but I do think there might have been just a little bit of grooming there from the UFC to get Yuri to vacate the title, because had he not have vacated the title, they would have just made an interim title fight. So I don't know how exactly they were able to convince him to vacate the title. Now I know that he said that, Bushido code, he wanted to do it to let the division move on. But as you see, Francis Ngannou, he's holding on to his title for a little bit. Maybe where Yuri hadn't gotten the championship pay yet. So I guess maybe his pay structure hadn't been different because he hadn't actually defended the title yet. He's only fought for the title, whereas Francis was coming off a title defense. But I just thought that was a peculiar move overall, especially when you kind of compared the two with Yuri and Francis. But yeah, man, just honorable dude to actually do it.
Well, you just got to look at the two different outlooks of the fighting for the two fighters. Like, you have like fucking Yuri that just wants to be like the best, and you have Francis that is holding out right now because he wants to get paid more. It's two different things. I don't ever think we're going to hear anything about pay from like fucking Yuri just because of the person that he is. He just wants to get in there and fucking fight. But yeah, dude, the fight that I wanted to talk about being as the next number one contender was announced for March 11th, and that's Anthony Smith versus Anthony Smith versus Jamal Hill, dude. That is announced for March 11th. Immediate thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a super exciting fight, and as you know, two of my favorite guys up at 205. So it's going to be one that is going to be hard to kind of root for one or the other. You just want to see a good fight, but you almost don't want to see the other guy get hurt too much. That's just kind of some of the emotions that I go into some of these fights with. But that's a super good matchup, and I think for Jamal Hill, I think if he wins and if he goes out there and knocks out Anthony Smith, I mean, Anthony Smith, for whatever people want to say about him, that dude is tough as an old leather boot, man. I mean, it's just so hard to. You can hurt him. He's been finished before, but it's really hard to finish him. And if Jamal Hill goes out there and finishes him, man, I mean I think that would cement a title shot for him. And I think for Anthony Smith, I think he's just another guy takes on all comers. He will face whoever, whenever. And he's always kind of had that mentality. And I think he sees that, fighting a guy like Jamal Hill, maybe he might see some weaknesses in his game that he thinks he can exploit. And that kind of gets him right back into the title picture as well. So that's a super fun matchup.
Yeah. And as you said earlier, with like Yuri injured, Jan Blachowicz will now face Magomed Ankalaev December 10th for the vacant light heavyweight title. Jessica Penne versus Tabitha Ricci. Care about it at all? March 4th.
Tabitha Ricci and who was the first name?
Jessica Penne.
Yeah, not really. I'm surprised Jessica Penne. I know she had the USADA suspension a couple of years ago, so I guess she's wanting to try to come back in and make up for lost times. But I mean, at this point, she hasn't really put on too many great performances over her last few. Maybe it's time for her to maybe hang it up, but not really super interested.
All right, so dude, this fight has had pullouts after pullouts, dude. What's even happening here? So Felipe Lins is now out against OSP that he filled in for Alexander Gustafsson for, dude. And now OSP will fight Anthony Tricoli at UFC 282 December 10th. So next weekend.
Man,
I don't even know
OSP
who this
can't catch
guy
a
is.
break, dude. Yeah, I was about to say OSP can't catch a break because it's like
But it's probably
all
gonna
his
be some
opponents.
young dude that's just gonna come fucking blast them and probably knock him out.
Or it could just be some guy from the regional scene who like just got done fighting in your local bar and like is going up there to take the fight and just get absolutely smoked too. So I was like, we
Maybe,
know
dude.
absolutely nothing about this guy.
Yeah, me, possibly, dude. Here we go. Up next, Nikita Krylov taking on Superman Ryan Spann, February 25th. Immediate thoughts on that?
That's a good fight. I think as you know, we were talking about Ryan Spann just a couple weeks ago. He's a freaking massive dude for 205. Like he looks like he could walk around a heavyweight and be super competitive up at heavyweight just because he would have a good speed advantage over the guys. I think for Nikita Krylov, he's a good striker. Yeah, his path to victory in that fight is definitely going to be the wrestling. And it is going to be trying to avoid the big shots from Spann early. But with Ryan Spann, you got to be careful because he's got a real nasty guillotine too. So that's a really good matchup. When did you say that's going down? That's a really good fight.
February 25th.
Okay, yeah, so that's a little bit from now, but yeah, that's a super fun fight. I like that matchup a lot,
Gotta watch out for a first round Spanish, yeah.
dude. First round Span, that he will take your fucking head off if he either punches it off or squeezes it off. Like he's going to try to take your head off in the first round.
All right. So up next, we got Abdul Razak Al Hassan versus Claudio Ribeiro. Added to January 14th, USC Vegas 67. Dude, I don't know who Claudio Ribeiro is. Heard of him? Looks like he's on a Contender Series background.
Yeah, I couldn't really recall too much of him either. I remember Abdul Razak Al Hassan as he's been in the UFC for a little bit, but
Yeah.
that dude's legs are freaking tree trunks, bro. That dude like is a physical specimen. Yeah, he is a that dude's a freak and a half. Al Hassan is.
And I guess before we move on along too much, dude, I want to get your opinion on the whole James Krause thing, what's happening with it, dude? Like, because to me, dude, this is the biggest story that I feel like no one's even like fucking talking about, dude. Like, it's like you now have a main cornerman, like a staple in the sport, dude, no longer able to corner his fighters. And his entire YouTube channel just fucking vanished. And apparently, like the Discord, like fucking did as well. Dude, this is what I heard. This is just speculation, not true at all. I heard that it was like the entire Discord paying into like one, let's just say account, like a fucking like a FanDuel account, like or some shit. And then they would make the profits and then like split it all up after James got his cut. So no matter what, he would be getting paid, dude. So that's just what I heard, dude. I was like, damn, dude, that's kind of fucking crazy. And if so, dude, I mean, it don't involve me, so I don't really care too much. So I guess it's when like there's information being given out or when your fighters are possibly taking a dive. Like that's where I get pissed off at because it's like, bro, what if I would have bet on fucking him, dude? Like, and it's like he's taking a dive, dude. Like, but luckily that didn't ever happen. I guess because it's like, well, one, I don't bet enough to really care too much anyway. I fucking bet like $20 a fucking weekend, so it is what it is. But like, two, it's like, bro, that's so fucked. And it's like, what's stopping anyone from fucking doing that? It's like, you don't fucking know, dude. So it's just kind of just odd overall to see. So I guess I just wanted to get your thoughts on after everything being taken down and him not being able to coach. I mean, to corner anymore, I guess.
Yeah, that one little detail is that little rumor that is pretty interesting to hear that I guess he had started a big pool of his own, but was making sure he got his slice of the pie, regardless. even with the paying through the membership of Discord or however that got sliced up. That's actually very interesting. I'm curious to see what comes of that investigation. But as far as him actually being able to corner his fighters and being able to, there was another note as well that on that one headline that I sent you as well that also in the state of New Jersey, no one is allowed to actually bet on like someone who trains at James Krause's gym or like anybody that's like associated with James Krause as well, which is absolutely nuts to even
crazy, dude.
Yeah, which is absolutely nuts to even think. But it just goes to show that the UFC really was serious when they implemented this betting policy that they put in not too long ago. We were, and I keep going back to it, but we literally talked about it when the news broke then at that time. And I agree with you. I do feel like not a lot of people are talking about this subject, but we had mentioned at that time, what's going to happen with this? Is this going to include just fighters? Is it going to be coaches? And, I kept saying, I said, man, I think it's going to be pretty much everybody. Everybody's going to be umbrellaed under this rule. And, that the UFC is really trying to take this serious as far as trying to have some integrity with this. And, I mean, for James Krause, his fighter ended up, supposedly. So, I'll throw that out there in the parentheses there that, Derek Minner had went out there knowingly with an injury, and the odds changed that quick right before the fight. They swung almost like in a 200 plus difference each way. Yeah, it things just almost didn't add up there for a second, and it does almost smell like some foul play that's going on between James Krause. So James Krause, as you know, is a guy that I like. I didn't watch his YouTube channel all the time, but I will watch his YouTube channel. I've loved watching him as a coach. He gets his fired up, and I get fired up with him as well. Yeah, no, yeah, no, it's all adding up now. It's all adding up. It's all adding up.
You got money on the line, man.
or maybe it wasn't adding up in certain situations. It's all adding up, and it didn't add up in some others. But yeah, man, it's just unfortunate for him. But I am curious to see what more kind of unveils from this investigation to see, kind of exactly the details that he was involved with.
Yeah, man. Interesting to see. Like, I hope everything turns out like all right, because like I don't want to see him get like in like trouble, dude. But like at the same time, like it's like he had to have known what he was playing with. Like after the thing came out that said, "Hey, no more fucking doing this." If we acknowledged it, dude, he had to have at least seen it. Like so that's kind of odd to see. So yeah, moving on.
Do you just one quick question? Do you think that this is something that he won't be able to rebound from? Like the UFC will keep him basically almost like Pete Rose in the MLB, how they almost don't even mention Pete Rose anymore because due to Pete Rose's gambling situation back then. Do you think this is something that maybe the UFC blackballs James Krause and he's no longer associated with the UFC anymore?
I mean, they've had him on the I don't know if it was after or before. I know that after like the statement came out, I seen him like on the TV, like actually doing like some kind of a fucking breakdown. So I'm not sure, dude. I doubt it, but who the hell knows, dude. You want to talk about your greatest like fucking women ever, taking that L this fucking past weekend, and the only fucking fights that I knew about, the PFL pay-per-view that I definitely paid for.
Yeah, I know. It must have been hard letting go of that hard-earned money. I mean, I didn't see too much of it, so I mean, I wouldn't really have too much insight on it. If you had maybe wanted to kind of talk about. I seen her post-fight reaction, so I seen and she carried herself well. But in terms of the fight, I hadn't seen any of it still.
Yeah, she just kind of looked like she was kind of struggling about midway through the fight, just getting it down, dude. And like Pacheco, dude, she's got some polish on her. She was knuckling Kayla up pretty much the whole fight, dude. Even like she did get like fucking taken down, dude. She was like active like off of her fucking back, dude, like elbowing her, like Kevin Holland fucking punching her and shit, dude. I was like, damn, dude, this ain't good for Kayla Harrison. And Kayla Harrison's already beat her twice, dude. So it's like, what the hell, dude? I do want to say that your current PFL 155 champion, if you do some MMA math, has taken an L to Macy Chasson on The Ultimate Fighter, and Jermaine Durandamy. She got knocked out by Jermaine Durandamy in the UFC. I believe it was back in like 2014 or some shit like that. So it has been a minute, but you do some MMA math, and Jermaine Durandamy is your PFL 155 champion right now, dude. Crazy, huh?
Yeah, we all know that MMA math ain't working because Jermaine Durandamy doesn't know. If she couldn't stop Amanda Nunes' wrestling, I think she's gonna have a hell of a tough time stopping Kayla Harrison. But Pacheco, she is a little more she's a little more gritty. I've seen some of her highlights, and I know she had about 2-3 straight knockouts going into the fight. So I know that I know she's dangerous with the hands. But yeah, I expected Kayla to go out there and do her thing and make it look easy. But I'm kind of wondering too if maybe Kayla, she just got kind of burned out from fighting the same fighter, so many different times. I think what is this the third year in a row they fought? So
I know the third time. Like, I don't know it's for sure 2 years straight though.
Yeah, so I mean, there could be a sense of maybe just her just getting bored during the fight as well, because she's like, damn, I keep fighting the same girl over and over again at the end of this tournament. So just curious about that. But yeah, I like the way that Kayla Harrison handled herself after the fight, taking the loss on the chin, going to the press conference and acknowledging that she wasn't the rightful winner that Pacheco was, and but she was going to kind of build on this and be better. So I like the way she handled herself after the fight, but good win for Pacheco.
So you don't see her turning out like all fucking Ronda Rousey, like where she just like fucking never fights again?
No, because I think the way Kayla had faced the press afterwards, that was something that Ronda wasn't really up to doing. I mean, when she got slept by Holly Holm, she never did any media after that. Even going into that Amanda Nunes fight, which was a full year later, she never did any type of press or anything like that going into the fight. So, no, I don't expect Kayla to be like that. Kayla has, from what I've seen, she has a little bit more better of an attitude about taking a loss and being able to build on it. And I think I think she's definitely going to come back stronger from this.
Cool. Nate Diaz, officially a free agent, dude. Do you fucking think he fights Jake Paul?
Honestly, I think the Anderson Silva fight made it to where Nate Diaz is like, no matter how big the payday's worth, I'm not going out there for a potential of getting beat by Jake Paul in the boxing match. I think Jake Paul's a little bit better than what a lot of people like to give him credit for, but it's just because he has a shit ton of money and he's able to fund it towards going towards like legitimate boxing training, and he's taking it serious. And he's got a lot of size on Nate Diaz. So I don't see Nate Diaz taking that fight. But I could see him taking on some sort of boxing match. I could see him, I know that the Triller Triad, I know they've done all kinds of stupid stuff. So I could see them setting up, they did the exhibition with Roy Jones and Mike Tyson. So I could see them maybe snatching a Nate Diaz name, throwing just as much money as they can at him just to compete for them. Whoever it's against, it's kind of hard telling at this point right now. I think Jake Paul is kind of the only name that people think, but I can't really think of anybody who he could compete against.
There's one man, dude, and I think we see it within the next 365 days.
Connor,
the greatest boxer of all time, Floyd Money Mayweather, dude. I think Floyd Mayweather and Nate Diaz end up getting in the ring sometime in the next year. I don't know why, dude. It's just he's the biggest name, I guess. Like fucking Floyd's like literally fighting like just YouTubers now. So it's like maybe he would take the chance against fucking old Nate Diaz. What do you think about that?
That's definitely an interesting fight. I know Nate Diaz isn't accepting an exhibition fight. I think for Floyd, his last few fights have been exhibition fights. So I'd be curious if Nate were to actually want to step into the ring and do an exhibition, not go 100%. I just can't see Nate Diaz taking that type of fight. I think it would have to be a professional fight. Floyd may take it, but we know that he's, as you said, he's been fighting YouTubers and teenagers and anybody who he can really get his hands on. That's pretty easy money for the most part. So I think that it would be an interesting fight for sure, just to see how maybe the press conference would play out and stuff like that. But I think as far as the actual fight itself, I do think that's a little bit of a reach, just because for the way Floyd's kind of been handling his career here lately, doesn't seem like him and Nate Diaz kind of align as much.
And I guess last news topic of the week. Did you see Patty, his dog took a dump on someone's yard and he was like, "Excuse me, I feel terrible. My dog took a sloppy shit. Do you have any water or anything?" Have you seen that?
No, I have not seen it, but
bro, no. All right, I'm gonna send it to you right now, and you have to watch it on the stream, dude. Because how have you not seen this? I feel like this has been a few days now. Like fucking everyone's gonna be like, "What the hell?" Like you just gotta click it and you gotta slide like the next one over. I'm gonna go grab a soda real quick. I'll be right back.
Let me pull this shit up real quick. I'm not as active on the IGs and the Twitters and the tweeters, so it's hard for me to keep up with all the news that's going on, especially having a young family. My wife's been sick today, so thank goodness for that, huh? And here we go, Patty the baddie.
Like a sloppy shit outside. I was just wondering if you got some water. I don't want to leave it outside. It is. I'm not 5 minutes away from home. Don't worry, I'll put it in. Like, you sure? I feel terrible. You know what I mean? Just had a proper sloppy shit and I can't even piss it up with a poo bag. Know what I mean?
I feel terrible. Sloppy shit.
Is that body the body? Yes,
terrible.
it is.
I feel terrible.
He's like, yes, it is. Is that potty the body? Yes, it is.
Dude, I'm surprised you haven't seen that. Like like I've been seeing it for like a few days now. I was like, well, he's had to have seen it because I've seen it like 100 times now.
I actually seen like a picture of it, but I never like took the time to actually like watch the video. So I guess that's I should have jumped on that earlier. He's such an idiot, man.
Yeah, that is our only other news topic for the week. Anything else you want to talk about, man?
No, man, that's what I was saying. News was a little bit dry for the most part this week, but no fight from this week. Besides the Yuri and Glover news, pretty dry for the most part.
Yeah, man. So in that case, we'll move on down and make our picks for this upcoming weekend's fights, dude. I'll announce the fights if you want to pull up your odds. I'm gonna announce the fights, main event, the prelims, and we're gonna start at the prelims and work our way back up to the main event. Feel free to stick with us, fast forward, do what you have to do. But our main event of the night is going to be Steven, the Wonder Boy, or the Karate Hottie, depending on your preference. Thompson, the Trailblazer, Kevin Holland, Rafael Dos Anjos taking on Brian Bam Bam Barberina. Mateos, does he have a nickname? He does not. Mateos Nicolau is going to be taking on Danger Matt Schnell. We got Ty Bam Bam Tuivasa taking on Sergey. Does not have a middle nickname, Pavlovich, at least not on Tapology. Here we go. We got Jack the Joker Hermanson taking on Roman the Caucasian Delize. That's what Tapology says is his nickname. I don't remember that one, dude. How about we call him Mr. Velismus, Roman Mr. Velismus Delize. How about that, dude? So up next we got your boy Eric Anders, one of the best nicknames in the UFC, if you ask me. Taking on Kyle Dawkins, the Darce Knight. That is his nickname. That's stupid. Yeah. Up next we got the hybrid Nico Price taking on the Fresh Prince Philip Rowe or Phil Rowe. We got Angie Overkill Hill taking on Gordina, Emily Dakota. That I think that means like the fat girl or something like that. So it's just kind of odd. Like my Spanish isn't 100%, but that's just what I remember off the top of my head. That's why I was like, huh? Yeah. So Emily Dakota taking on Angie Overkill Hill. We got Clay the Carpenter Guida taking on Scott Hot Sauce Holtzman, dude. Haven't seen his name in a while. We got Michael the Menace Johnson going to be taking on the Bone Crusher Mark DeCasey. The Damage Darren Elkins taking on Jonathan JSP Pierce. We got Tracy Cortez, the return of Tracy Cortez, going to be taking on the Wicked Witch of the West, Amanda Hebus. That's not her actual nickname, but you know, the way she laughs, dude, it's like you were on the Wizard of Oz. Don't play. We got Natan Levy taking on Gernaldo. What does it say? I'm not. El Rayito, Gernaldo Valdez. I don't know too much about Gernaldo Valdez. We got, dude, the best nickname on the card, Francis the Fire Marshall. It's going to be taking on Marcelo Pitbull Rojo. And our prelim opener of the night, she is a rising star to watch out for. We got Yasmin Horegi taking on Estela Nunez, dude. And we'll start right there, dude. So Estela Nunez taking on Yasmin Horegi, dude. And she looked fantastic in her last fight against the other Yasmin, yeah?
Yeah, that's the right one.
Great. Yeah, so, dude, like, and if you look at Estela Nunez, dude, she's just lost. I think she's had 2 fights in the UFC now and lost both of them ever since leaving the Contender Series. Let me make sure I'm not talking out of my ass. Wait, no, she came in through after winning on one championship. I thought she came in through the Contender Series, but she did not. Yeah, so she's just lost 2 fights in the UFC. Dude, she's about to get the fucking door shown to her after this fight, yeah?
Yeah, likely so. Yasmin, as you said, she in her last fight against the other Yasmin, she put on a good performance. Good kicks from what I remember in her last fight, and yeah, I think it should be a pretty easy dub. I'm actually not as familiar with Estela Nunez, but I know that Yasmin's the real deal at flyweight, so, or it's strawweight. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know she's the real deal at strawweight, so yeah, I think pretty easy Yasmin dub here.
You got the odds on that? What is she, like fucking minus like fucking 400 or some shit?
Yeah, she is. You can get Yasmin Uruguay right now at minus 340, so actually a little bit better than what you anticipated. And you can get Estela Nunez at plus 250.
Yeah, dude. So not the best odds, dude. It's kind of a she should win, dude, but is she gonna win like 80% of the time, dude? I don't know. It's her fucking second fight in the UFC. Like, we haven't really seen a whole bunch of shit from her yet, but we've seen that she has a gas tank. She is young, dude. She's got hands. She trains with Brandon Moreno, dude, and she's just overall really well-rounded. And Estela Nunez doesn't look too good on the ground, dude. She just stayed on her fucking back with no attempt at a sub, like from what I like remember. She just got pretty much laid on in her last fucking 2 fights. Yeah, dude. I believe there's a path to victory if Yasmin Horegi can take her down, but she seems like a fucking one that just wants to stand on her feet and fucking bang. So I suspect that she'll just outpoint her on the feet for the most part. But hey, dude, we might get upset in the first fight of the night. But if you ask me, I'm going Haragi. How about you?
Yeah, same.
All right, so moving on up, next fight of the night, Francis the Fire Marshal. His nickname is the Fire.
Well, they switched it up like at the Contender Series because I don't think he even had a nickname going into it. And I remember Laura Sanko was like, "Dude, you need to change your name to the." Her and Bisping were like going crazy about like, "You need to change your name to the Fire so it could be the Fire Marshal." And I think they put a lot of pressure on him to do it, and he did it. But
Dude, speaking of that, I do want to throw out two more little news nuggets that I just now popped into my head. We got two UFC fighters released that, you know, I'm kind of a fan of. La Mavada, Silvana Gomez Juarez, dude. She has been released from the UFC as well as Ramona Pasquale. So both, you know, chicks that I wanted to see do well in the UFC and just got released, man. So kind of a shitter to see. It's all right though. You know, they weren't top of the food chain. So Francis Marshall taking on Marcelo Rojo, dude. Marcelo Rojo, I gotta be honest, dude, doesn't really ring a bell. I don't know the last time that he fought or if I even seen him the last time he fought. He lost to Kyler Phillips via this is the dude that just loses in the third round via submission, dude. So Francis Fire Marshall gonna win this fight, third round sub. But in all reality, dude, probably Francis Fire Marshall decision. I will probably play that round 3 or decision. How you going here, dude?
Yeah, Francis Marshall, he was on the Contender Series, and I think he doesn't have but ton of fights, but I remember in his fight in the Contender Series, he looked really good, super well rounded. He was on one of those episodes where all the guys had gotten finishes on there, I think like except for him, but where he had just looked like he was I think I remember even Dana saying after he had fought, like he was just so far above, like technically, like just technical skill wise, you know, just so above and ahead of a lot of the people that were on that episode. He was like, you know, there's no way I could let, you know, pass this guy up, even if he didn't completely wow me with his performance. I can see how good the guy is. And I do think that round 3 decision is going to be a safe play. Yeah, as you said, Marcelo Rojo, if you go back his last few fights, he got finished by Charles Jourdain in the third round, finished by Kyler Phillips there in the third round. I think that's a pretty safe bet to assume. But yeah, Francis Marshall, I think you can actually get him at pretty decent odds right now on the money line. You can get him at minus 162. You can get Francis Marshall, and you can get Marcel Rojo at a plus 126. So I think that could be a line. Maybe if you put in a parlay with something else that you like, yeah, minus 162. That's pretty good odds on Francis Marshall right now, in my opinion.
Yeah. So both going Francis Marshall there. Moving on up, dude. One that I really don't have too strong of a lean either way. I guess I'll tell you who I think at the end, but we got Natan Levy taking on Gernardo Valdez, dude. So Natan Levy 7-1, Gernardo Valdez 10-1. And who did Natan Levy fight last time? No, not last time. It was against Rafa Garcia or like fucking Rafa Garcia. He almost looked like he just didn't want to be there, dude. Like, I don't know. It was kind of an odd fight. And he ended up like fucking beating like fucking Mike Breeden by a decision, dude. But that was also another super close fight. Like fucking getting down like at the end of that, he almost kind of seemed like he didn't really want to be there, man. So and Gernardo Valdez. What do I know about Gernardo Valdez? Lost the Matt Steamroller Favola in round 1, but has a bunch of finishes himself, mostly round 1 and 2 himself. So the dude pretty much comes the fucking bang, dude. So I don't really have a strong lean either way. I would say Natan Levy is a good karate guy, keeps his like fucking distance. So I would probably lean that way, but I really don't have anything to say here. My fucking money is going to be staying far away from this fight either damn way though.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, especially where the line's kind of stand right now. You can get Natan Levy at -200, and you can get Genaro Valdez at +154 right now, according to odds on FanDuel. And I think, I can't really say too much more than what you added. As far as I would have to probably lean Natan Levy, but that doesn't mean that Valdez isn't capable of getting the job done either. Both only have one loss, and the Valdez loss is to the Steamroller. So as you've seen, we just seen him put out Ottoman Azaitar too. So that's two undefeated guys in a row that he's given their first L to. So we could see Valdez come out and have a decent performance. But I guess if I had a lean, I would say Levy. But just like you, I'm not going to be any bit confident to put any bit of money towards it whatsoever.
Nah, dude, definitely not at all. So moving on up, dude, will we have a different pick here? What do you think off the jump? The fight
not.
is Tracy Cortez versus Amanda Ribas, dude. I've been going back and forth on this fight all damn week, dude. I was like, Tracy Cortez is good. She's only been beaten once, and it was like it was a while ago on some who was it against? It was like some dumb shit too. Now she lost via guillotine in her first pro fight ever, dude. So she hasn't lost since her first pro fight ever, dude. And like she fights at she's fought at 135, but mostly 125. Amanda Ribas, on the other hand, fought mostly 115 and now fighting at 125. So they're kind of meeting in the middle. But relatively, the girls are going to be the same overall size. I'm just wondering, is the strength going to be a difference? I think that if Amanda Ribas can stop the takedowns, dude, I think she's got better striking than Tracy Cortez. And we've seen that in the Katlyn Chookagian fight, dude. That was a close damn fight. That fight truly could have gone either damn way, dude. So Amanda Ribas, dude, is rather good, and she's good at 125, dude. So it's just kind of odd to see how this plays out. I'm going to lean Amanda Ribas here, dude, and that's just because of how she looked against Katlyn Chookagian. I know like Tracy Cortez may have the strength advantage in the fight, but I'm worried she's not going to be able to get Amanda Ribas down. And Amanda Ribas, a black belt, she's fucking armbarred fucking Paige VanZant. She's got some subs off her back too. So I'm wondering, can Tracy Cortez get Amanda Ribas down? And if she does, dude, she has to watch out, dude. And if it stays on the feet, I got Amanda Ribas on the feet. Which way you going? Who you leaning? And what are the odds here, man?
This one is one of the closer ones, so you can get Amanda Ribas at a slight favorite here, -125. Tracy Cortez, she slight underdog at -105.
So the bookies are agreeing with me just a little bit too. They're like, I see what the bookies are saying.
yeah. No, it's definitely a close fight from the odds makers' perspective, and I do think matchup wise, it is really hard to kind of tell which one I think is going to be the favorite. But I think for Amanda Ribas, in her Chookagian fight, I think the most impressive part about that was honestly her wrestling, but really just her determination, just because she was just stepping forward on the gas. Now, honestly, I think in that third round, because she knew she needed to win the third round in order to win that fight, and I think she ran into a lot of shots. Now, she kind of made Katlyn Chookagian, for the first time in her career, had gotten a UFC bonus. And that was from the Amanda Ribas fight. No other fight that Katlyn Chookagian has had has earned any type of performance bonus, because she's normally super clean. She's going in, she's going out. Amanda Ribas made that a really dirty fight. But I think that she's kind of proven to be a little bit too much of an open target at times. Not to say that Tracy Cortez is the most potent striker. I know she's got decent hands, good wrestling. She's got some good kicks. I think she's starting to develop a little bit more. And you can see a lot of maturity in her game. I do think that I think Amanda Hebos, I think honestly she just gets hit a little bit too much, and she's too willing to kind of take one to give one. She doesn't really have too great at like head movement or any type of defense. Her defense is her offense really, and I think that's where this could set her up for failure here. I think Tracy Cortez is going to be the quicker fighter. I think she'll probably end up having the strength advantage. So I honestly think Amanda Hebos is going to be the one that's going to try to get it to the ground a little bit more, but I think Cortez will be able to keep it up on the feet. I think she'll be able to kind of get around, strike from the outside, probably get away with the decision here. But give me Tracy Cortez here.
In our first different pick of the day, dude. Kind of odd because I'm the Tracy Cortez fan, and fucking D, I'm picking against her this week because I can't lose my strap. I hope she wins, but as I said, I just see Amanda Hebus just having a little bit better paws on her, dude. So anything else? Moving on up.
Moving on up like the Jeffersons.
All right, dude. See if we pick different again here, dude. Darren, the Damage Elkins taking on Jonathan JSP Pierce. And dude, there's nowhere Darren Elkins is better than Jonathan Pierce. I'm just gonna throw that out there. JSP could probably finish Darren Elkins round one with his hands if he wanted to, because the amount of brain damage that fucking Darren Elkins just walks around with at this point. Look at his chest tattoo, dude. No mentally stable person gets that across their chest. And that being said, dude, JSP, either round one KO or just 3-round absolute ground fucking. The dude doesn't run out of gas. He's not gonna Darren Elkins isn't gonna outpace him. JSP Pierce, dude, for the dub. Which way you going? And I guess what's the odds here?
The odds makers, they are not in favor of Darren Elkins here. JSP Pierce coming in at a minus 520 favorite, and you can get return money. You can get return money on Darren Elkins at plus 350 right now. And honestly, I really don't have too much to take away other than, kind of what you said. I think the only thing that you can maybe say Darren Elkins has an advantage on is the heart. The dude's got the heart of a champion. He's got the heart of a champion, but unfortunately, he doesn't have the skills of a champion. And I think that's where
the chin of about a 14-year-old.
Yeah, well, no, he's got the chin of about an 80-year-old at this point, just by as much damage as he's taken, and all that brain damage that he's taken. Man, they call him the Damage for a reason with that crazy ass tattoo across his chest. So, but yeah, I think JSP should be able to, as you said, either get some type of finish, or if not, probably just pure domination for the 3 rounds here.
All right, so picking the same there. Moving on up to the next one, and are we going to pick a different one here, dude? This is the one, me and you always pick back and forth here. We got Michael, the Menace Johnson, taking on the Bone Crusher, Mark Diakase, dude. And I don't want to give you my pick yet. I'm going to set this up for you. I'm just going to give you this field of view. So Mark Diakase has somehow in the past few fights become like a fucking all-American fucking wrestler. Yeah, like the dude's just like wrestling his ass off. Granted, the guys he wrestled didn't have the best takedown defense. Fucking Vyacheslav Borishev and I think Hadzovic. So they don't have the best takedown defense to begin with. But Mark Diakase didn't used to shoot at all. He used to just strike. If he comes in here with this game plan and maybe tries to shoot on Michael Johnson, and dude, Michael Johnson's a good wrestler. If he's able to stop some of Diakase's takedowns, that he's only been fucking wrestling like this a few years now, dude. And this is a fucking kickboxing fight, dude. Michael Johnson's live to knock out anybody in the world. That being said, I don't know if Michael Johnson's going to be able to stop the takedowns that Mark Diakase has improved on at this point. What are the odds, and what's your lean here, man?
Right now, you can get Mark Diakase pretty heavy favorite here, minus 340 favorite, and you can get return money on Michael Johnson at plus 250 right now.
Michael Johnson's going to upset a lot of people's parlays this weekend, dude. I can feel it in the air. I'm going Michael Johnson. Just based off the numbers, I'm going Michael Johnson, dude. Dude, he should not be that much of an underdog against Mark DeCasey, dude.
No. So are you going to pick against him in the picks if that's what it comes down to?
Here's what scares me, dude. I feel like Mark DeCasey's fucking been in the UFC like 10 years now, and you look and he's like fucking 28 or 29, dude. You're like, what the fuck? I thought he was like mid 30s now. How old is he?
Yeah, I do think you're right. That I think he might be like early 30s. Like he might have like just turned 30.
Dude.
So
29. I am older
Yeah.
than Mark DeCasey, dude. His birthday is March 16th, dude, of 93. So I think you're older than Mark DeCasey.
Wait, when's his birthday?
March 16th, 316. Oh hell yeah,
I'm
brother.
a day older than him. My birthday is March 15th. Hell yeah. I am. I'm older than him, but hell, that's what I thought you said 15th. I was like, hell yeah. But,
dude, how crazy is that he's still that young, dude? I remember him having that fucking, I like that red mohawk. Like I feel like it was like 10 years ago. That doesn't make any sense.
I remember he hit that dude with like the big overhand right and like froze the dude, and like he was getting a pound, and he did that like little spinning dance where he had his legs stuck out and stuff. And I remember like people thought he was going to be the next big thing. Like I remember I had a couple of people like hit me up like, yo, Mark DeCasey, that dude, like he might be. I remember. Do you remember Deonco Hayden? He hit me up one time and like he showed me that highlight. And he was like, dude, if he fights next, you got to let me know when he fights. Because I want to watch this dude fight. So, like, it's crazy how I remember him, like, 2016, 2017 being in the UFC, making an imprint on everybody and being here, only being 29 years old. But Michael Johnson, man, I think the biggest thing for him that we all know that he's super – that hand speed is just – I mean, still to this day, in my Deontay Wilder voice, to this day, still has probably the best hand speed in the UFC. Just hand speed. It is so crazy to watch Michael Johnson's hands fly, especially when he's just when he's on and he's on his counters and stuff like that. But we've kind of seen him get wilted in these later rounds in a lot of these fights. You know, once the guys kind of start applying pressure to him and can get through some of his shots. If they can get through first round Michael Johnson is super sharp and super dangerous, but he does tend to get a little bit slower as the fight goes. And I think that's where Mark DeCasey can really take advantage if he can't I don't want to say keep it safe in the first round, but doesn't step into that vicious counter left that Michael Johnson has. But I think for Mark DeCasey, I think as long as he can kind of weather the storm in the first round, I think he should be able to ride it out. I think it's going to be tough for him to finish Michael Johnson. But I think a decision win is more likely.
Oh yeah,
for Mark DeCasey.
If he wins, he's just gonna fucking wrestle him nonstop, dude. I'm going with a 20-18 vet. I'm going with Michael Johnson here, dude. I smell it. I smell it coming, dude. Michael Johnson with the big ass upset, and we have it again. Moving on up, dude. The fucking 1-800. Gambler fight of the week, dude. Clay Guida versus Scott Holtzman, dude. We got like a 39-year-old versus a 40-year-old Clay Guida, dude. So, dude.
Wait, how old is Scott Holtzman?
39. We should not be
dude, I didn't realize he was 39.
We should not be betting on a 39 versus a 40-year-old in the UFC, dude. But I got to be honest, Scott Hot Sauce Holtzman probably gets a dub here. What's the odds and which way you leaning?
So Scott Holtzman, he's a small favorite right now, minus 172, and you can get Clay Guida at plus money here at plus 134. I honestly, I have a tough time kind of leaning which way to go on this one, because I know that didn't Clay Guida, he got finished by Claudio Puelles in his last fight. Is that right? Or
I think he won in his last fight after getting like dropped a whole bunch against
or was it against
Claudio Puelles was his last fight. I was thinking about like a Leonardo Santos fight where he was getting fucked up and then he came back and won. Yeah, but that was 2 fights ago. But Claudio Puelles was his last fight.
Yeah, so Puelles, the tough thing with him was obviously the leg locks, and Clay Guida was going to be, very open to that ground game, and he trusted that his jiu-jitsu defense would get him out of there, and it didn't. I think for Scott Holtzman, he's seen a lot of highs and lows as of late. Man, it's 39. I did not realize that Scott Holtzman was 39 years old. Another guy who's been in the UFC for a long time, but he hasn't fought since that Gamrot fight, which was in the middle of last year. Yeah, about a year and a half. So April 2021 was his last fight. So I guess this one is probably just take some time off, because I know he had gotten finished by Gamrot, and I think Benny D back to back. Maybe his chin is a little bit more replenished here, but I think the time off, man, might actually end up hurting him here. And Clay Guida hasn't looked too bad as of late. So I think there's some money to be made on Clay Guida here. Maybe he gets the wrestling and he outpaces Scott Holtzman. I think as long as he doesn't eat too many big shots from Scott Holtzman, I can see Clay Guida getting the dub here, man.
All right, so we'll have our third different pick one of the week, but we'll just add them all up and pick three at the end. In our third different pick, I'm going Scott Holtzman. Dorian's going Clay the Carpenter Guida. Moving on up to probably one of my picks of the week, dude. And I got her earlier in the week on FanDuel at like plus 110. I'm not sure what she is now, but Angie Overkill Hill taking on Emily Ducote, dude. I got Angie Overkill Hill earlier in the week. Dude, I can't stop picking Angie Overkill, and I don't know why. Dude, she maybe won the Amanda Lemos fight after almost getting her head kicked off fucking round one, dude. So it's like, dude, you're not going to put her away. She's tough as hell, and she's just there to fucking spoil the party for a lot of damn people. Angie Overkill is the way I'm going. What's the odds now, and which way you going?
Yeah, Emily Ducote, she's coming off that Jessica Panay fight. She is a minus 128 as of right now. Emily Ducote is, and Angie Overkill Hill is a plus 100 according to FanDuel right now. So pretty close on the line there.
I got some better odds earlier in the week, so it looks like some other people are on the same side as me.
Yeah, I think man, I almost had kind of the same opinion as you as far as it goes with Angie. It's just tough to pick against. And now, in her fight against Amanda Lemos,
decisions. She always loses split decisions.
Against Amanda Lemos, I picked against her because I decided Lemos was going to be a little bit too much. But in her fight against Tisha Torres, I picked her. But in her last fight, I don't think
I picked against her, and Lupe Godinez had the most. Bro, she didn't go for one fucking takedown the entire damn fight. It's like Angie has like the worst takedown defense in the division, and she didn't even go for one takedown. Angie was just beating her up the whole fight. I was just like, what the fuck? So I don't know, dude.
Yeah. I think, and for Emily Ducote, I'm struggling grasping. I remember her fight against Jessica Panay, but just as far as like the details of it, as far as how she had won the fight.
I think she's got solid calf kicks. I think she was tearing her up with the calf kicks.
No, yeah, that's right. She was. Yeah, because I think she might. For some reason, I felt like they had fought in front of a crowd, and I think I do. Now that you say that, I remember John Anik making a mention of that. Now, didn't she used to fight in Bellator too, Emily Ducote?
Let me see.
Yeah, I believe she used to fight in Bellator for a little bit as well. Man, she's got some decent experience on her side. We know that Angie Overkill is pretty experienced here, but man, almost every time I pick Angie, she wins, and then every time I pick her, she loses, and every time I pick against her, she wins. But yeah, now that I'm starting to remember Emily Ducote a little bit more, I do remember her. She got some pretty decent kickboxing, man. She's sharp. She's going to be a little bit smaller than Angie Overkill Hill, which is not what you normally see in an Angie Overkill fight. But I think Emily Ducote, she's going to be a little bit faster, going to have a little more pep in her step, and I think I'll take Ducote here.
Damn, dude, picking against Angie Overkill. Can't believe you're going to do that to her. Hurts your heart. All right, fourth different one of the day. Moving on up. We haven't seen him in a while. The hybrid Nico Price taking on Phil Rowe, dude. And I think the time off for fucking Nico is kind of like, why? Because he's usually just trying to fight everybody all the time, fucking paying for all them damn kids. What's he got, like fucking 15 or 16 of them shits now, dude?
Yeah, he can outfield a full basketball team, the starting five and the whole bench. Like, I mean, you got the whole damn squad in here, coaches and all.
Dude, he's got a lot of damn kids. So I know he's trying to fight to pay for them fucking things. But damn, dude, he is gonna be fighting Phil Rowe. Phil Rowe's big, dude. Not big. He's quick. He's got some pop, and he's got a big reach too, dude. I'm going Phil Rowe here. I don't think he knocks him out, but fuck, who knows, dude? He might, because fucking Nico Price is getting old, dude. Fucking Phil Rowe, also a black belt, if you didn't know. That's a joke, because if you follow Phil Rowe on Instagram, it's like he's like, hey, I'm a black belt. Like, he's like, hey, watch your mouth, I'm a black belt. And it's just a random person on the street, like, what the fuck is that? Like, it's the most ridiculous shit ever, dude. Yeah, I'm going Phil Rowe here. What are the odds, and which way are you leaning?
Yeah, you can actually get Phil Rowe at plus money here, plus 116. And you can get Nico Price as a favorite right now at minus 148. You know me, I'm a big Nico Price fan, always the hybrid. Win, lose, or draw, this dude is going to go out there and he's going to give you a freaking barn burner. For Phil Rowe, I do think that he has a little bit of the athleticism on his side. He's definitely the more dangerous fighter of the two, just in terms of his explosiveness. Like, I think he's the better athlete of the two. I do think that, Nico is going to be obviously the more experienced of the two. Was Nico's last fight against was it against your boy? No, he had the decision win against Alex Oliveira, because he had the fight against Michelle Pereira, and then he fought Alex Oliveira. So yeah, I forgot he had the win against him.
Dude, Alex Oliveira he's had like one or two fights like fucking out of the UFC now. Dude, he's looked like dog shit both of his fights now too, and he went all the way to decision with him. It's like, bro,
yeah,
fucking Nico's kind of getting fucking near the end of his career too, dude. It just kind of worries me that maybe he's just, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I definitely see what you mean, as far as, he's taking a lot of damage in a lot of his fights, so it's going to be tough for him to continually go out there and do that. But man, I think if you can get Phil Rowe out of that first round, man, I think, same thing. I think if you can get him out of that first round, try to maybe wrestle him and get some of that lactic acid going in the muscles, I think that's a fight that Nico Price can win. And
he's not that muscled up. He's like a lanky guy.
No, I know what you mean as far as that, but I mean, like, he's got like fast, like fiber twitch muscles. Like, that dude, like, he turns his body really quick when he's throwing a lot of those hooks, but he gets a little wild sometimes too. Tries to take somebody's head off too much. So I think that if you can, like I said, maybe get him missing a little bit, and I think Nico Price, he's only 33, so for him to be in the UFC for as long as he has been, he's still on, the other side of the short side of 35. So, and Phil Rose is coming in at 32 as well, and very inexperienced on the UFC level compared to Nico Price. So I think that's what helps Nico Price get a win here, man.
Dude, we're just basically going to pick fucking different on every one of these damn fights for the most part. We had one fucking different pick 2 weeks ago. We didn't have any fights last weekend, and then now we're going to pick different on every single fight on this damn show. So
we only have one disagreement on the other card. So yeah, we got to we got to make up for it here.
All right, dude. Moving on up. One that I have strong feelings about, dude. And I know who the favorite is. I know who the underdog is. And I feel like it should be flopped. Because dude, like Eric Anders versus Kyle Dawkins, dude. Has Kyle Dawkins beat anyone in the UFC, dude?
Has Kyle Dawkins?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had the Didn't he beat well he was going to beat Kevin Holland before the headbutt.
He headbutted him. And I don't think he was going to beat him. He like knocked him out with the headbutt.
Yeah, he beat your boy Jamie Pickett and he beat Dustin Stolfus.
All right, so I'm just gonna throw that out there. Eric Anders beats both of those with ease, dude. Eric Anders can go up to 205. I think Kyle Dawkins' game plan is trying to take someone down, dude. Eric Anders is big. He's got good takedown defense. I don't think Kyle Dawkins' striking is good. Dude, I think Eric Anders is probably going to win this fight, and I think he should be the favorite. What am I missing, dude? And who are you going? And what are the odds, I guess? Throwing a whole bunch of questions at you.
Yeah, so odds wise, you can get Kyle Dawkins according to FanDuel at minus 225. Get Eric Anders here on return money at plus 172. I guess if you can really attribute it to anything, is that Eric Anders, he kind of had that early run in the UFC. The UFC was really trying to use the former football player at Alabama, making his way through the UFC ranks, and he had a couple like big knockouts. He had a couple of good fights. It was like he ended up taking that Lyoto Machida fight, and it was almost like he just kind of wasn't able to kind of get that magic back. I remember he ended up fighting Elias Theodoro, and God rest his soul, but he wasn't the most skilled fighter in the UFC, and he did take a loss to him. Guys like Krzysztof Jotko, none that you would really consider good guys as far as the top tier of the middleweight division. He's taken a lot of losses to those types of guys, and if it's anybody that's sort of bottom tier, he's always been able to kind of handle himself pretty well, bouncing back and forth between 85 and 205. But when there is like a little bit of a skill discrepancy there, Eric Anders does tend to kind of go out there and almost. It's been kind of tough watching him here lately because he's almost turned into like more of like a wrestler. Like he almost wants to grind people up against the fence, and I think he becomes too focused on wrestling, and it takes away from what was dynamic from him, which was his boxing. He had really good boxing when he first came into the UFC, and it's almost like he put so much attention on his wrestling, it's taken away from the rest of his game. And I think for Kyle Dawkins, I think he's had he lost to Brendan Allen, he lost to Roman Dolidze. Now he did lose to Phil Hawes by decision, that's definitely one that I want to raise my eyebrow at. As I've definitely made some money on Phil Hawes being the favorite against a lot of people. So I do think that's a little bit of a peculiar loss, but other than that, I do think that Kyle Dawkins is the more skilled of the two between him and Eric Anders.
Besides jiu-jitsu, where?
Yeah, submissions, and I think that Kyle Dawkins does have better kicks, and I think he has better wrestling overall. Like I said, Eric Anders is going to have better boxing. He's not bricked up, but he's a solid dude. So I think weight-wise, he's going to be bigger, but I do think that that Kyle Dawkins is going to have the reach. I think he's going to have a little bit more of the size lengthwise. I think that sort of helps him to a victory here. I think if he gets a finish against Eric Anders, it'll be a submission, but I think Eric Anders really worked on his game here lately to where he won't get submitted by a lot of these top guys, but he does tend to lose by decision a lot. So I think if I had one lean, it would probably be Kyle Dawkins' decision here.
I think the game plan's there right from his fucking last fight, dude. Dude, I don't think Kyle Dawkins is that good. I gotta be honest. I really don't think he's good. He has a win over Jamie Pickett, and do we need to get started on how I feel about Jamie Pickett, dude? It's like, congratulations, dude. You walked into the cage and fucking made it through three rounds and didn't run out of breath, because that's all you have to do against Jamie Pickett, because the dude will not fight you. He'll just stand there and fucking hug you, dude. Yeah, dude. I just, if Kyle Dawkins, I don't see Kyle Dawkins getting Eric Anders down, because he's got good takedown defense, and Kyle Dawkins isn't a big guy. I doubt he's going to outpower Eric Anders. And if it takes place on the feet, Eric Anders has fucking better striking, in my opinion. So I'm going Eric Anders here. So you're going Kyle Dawkins?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm a fan of Eric Anders too. I kind of watched him on the come up as well, but I've watched enough of his fights to kind of know once he, it's like at a certain point in the fight, you just kind of know how an Eric Anders fight is going to go, and I think that's how it plays out.
All right, I'm going your boy. Dorian's going Kyle Dawkins. Moving on up, Jack the Joker Hermanson taking on Roman the Caucasian Dolidze, or I'm sorry, Mr. Velismus Dolidze.
Get that right,
dude. Roman Dolidze undefeated since he's hooked up with Cheyenne Velismus, dude. I mean, is there something cooking in the sauce over there, or what's up?
Well, I mean, I would because JP Bays, it didn't really do too much for him, so I don't know if maybe it's just extra motivation for Roman Dolidze, but I don't know if it's anything in particular with Cheyenne, because JP, it didn't really buy him too much luck in his fights. I think he actually got cut not too long ago too, so yeah, his life's kind of gone the other way.
Jack Hermanson versus Roman Dolidze, dude. What are the odds? Which way you leaning? I gotta say, dude, Jack Hermanson should win this by decision. That's the only way I really see this going, unless fucking Roman comes out again and just, dude, knuckles him up, because dude, that's what he's been doing.
Dude, unless I'm crazy, which I know that, it was last second that the fight ended up getting announced. Dude, I'm having trouble finding the actual, here we go. It took me a second to find it. It wasn't on the main card there for a second. But you can get Jack Hermanson at minus 205 right now. You can get Roman Dolidze at a plus 158. I think that we was talking about it last week. Jack Hermanson, he's willing to fight anyone, anytime, anywhere. He's another one of those guys who doesn't get enough credit for saving these UFC cards a lot of times, but he's always taking a short notice fight because his original opponent ended up pulling out. Like, he literally always ends up being in that same position. But man, I actually think that Roman Dolidze is a big dude. I do think that Jack Hermanson, if he's smart, he can do almost what he did to Chris Curtis in his last fight, kind of jab, kick, stay outside, use his footwork, and I think he really frustrated Chris Curtis in that last fight. Roman Dolidze is a little bit more dynamic with his striking, has really good leg kicks. As you've seen, he has really good jiu-jitsu. When he fought Phil Hawes, Phil Hawes was going to the wrestling, he really had that knee crank, and I think he ended up tearing something. This is just reckless speculation on my part, but I think he might have done something to Phil Hawes' knee before it led up to that knockout. So I think he's going to be able to defend himself well on the ground. I think he's got really good leg kicks. So I think if he's able to utilize those, I think he could stop a lot of Jack Hermanson's movement. And Jack Hermanson has been known to, once he takes a couple of hits, if he gets knocked down, yeah, I think we're just going to call it, and we'll move on to another day. You go to the Jared Cannonier and his Thiago Santos fight. Now, this was, some years ago, but both of those times he got hit once and kind of didn't really want to get back up after that. I think Roman Dolidze is one of those guys. He's super dangerous, and man, I think for some plus money here, I think I'd actually take Roman here, man. I think Roman can actually get the finish here.
Oh shit, dude. So
we're literally going to disagree on every fight.
Yeah. Let's see if we're moving on up to the next one. I got my Bam Bam Tai Tuivasa shirt on, New South Wales, baby. My fucking shoey shirt. Tai Tuivasa taking on Sergey Pavlovich, dude. And I got something for you, dude. I got round 2 knockout, Tai Tuivasa. I think Sergey gonna come out there, swing at reckless abandonment as he usually does, dude. But dude, I feel like once Tai gets hit 1 time, 2 times, that's when he's the most dangerous. I don't know. It's like after fucking Greg Hardy hit him, dude. That's when he was like, oh shit, wham, and then he like knocked Greg Hardy out, dude. Who else did he get hit by? Oh yeah, after he was getting the brakes beat off him, by Cyril Gahn, fucking round 2, Tai over the top, fucking dinked Cyril Gahn, dropped him too, dude. And we've never seen that
also
before.
Derek Lewis.
Derek Lewis too, dude. Round 2 once again. Tai Tuivasa, round 2, baby. Round 2, Tui. That's what I'm going, dude. We've seen Sergey Pavlovich kind of grounded and pounded out by an old Alistair Overeem, dude, and I cannot forget that. I don't know why. The fight that he was against like fucking Derek Lewis in his like last fight, I did think that was a little bit early. Bro, Ty's got a chin and he's got good leg kicks, dude. My thing is, has he recovered from all the damage that he took against Cyril Gahn? I don't know, dude, but hopefully, I'm hoping that he can withstand a fucking first round, or at least 2-3 minutes through like a first round, start landing some nice low leg kicks, dude, some calf kicks. Tai Tuivasa will continue on, lead into the second round, and end up getting that second round knockout. I'm going round 2, Tui, baby. Tai Tuivasa, New South Wales, the Shoey. Who are you going?
Man,
what are the odds, Tim?
Man, I think this one it's going to be a tough one. Sergey Pavlovich, you can get him as a favorite right now, -235, and you get Tai Tuivasa as an underdog at +180. And for me, the biggest takeaway from this fight is going to be really more the technician and Sergey Pavlovich, because his boxing is very crisp. I do think that Derek Lewis' stoppage was a little bit early, but when you see Derek Lewis kind of fall face forward, almost similar to how he fell in the Tai Tuivasa fight, he ended up catching himself, pushing himself back up. But I can understand. I believe it was Dan Mercogliata who ended up stopping the fight. I can understand where he's coming from. Derek Lewis is one of my favorite fighters, and I admit it was a little bit early in the moment, but when you take into account his last fight, you can understand why Dan Mercogliata made the jump there a little too early. But I do think that Ty, such a game fighter, going out there and taking on all comers as well, fighting Cyril Gahn when no one really wanted to. And he really didn't have to take the Cyril Gahn fight. He could have kind of sat back and waited for the heavyweight division to kind of unfold a little bit, because Cyril Gahn was coming off the title loss. He could have taken a fight against, maybe Curtis Blades or somebody like that. But I thought the Cyril Gahn was really the toughest matchup for him up there. And Cyril Gahn really proved just that. Took a lot of damage in that last fight against Cyril Gahn, and I think Pavlovich is kind of rolling right now. Ty's a little too willing to lean on his chin. In the Greg Hardy fight, he was able to catch Greg Hardy after getting hurt. Same thing with Derek Lewis. He was able to catch Derek Lewis after getting hurt. But, man, to me, I know you say the Sergey Pavlovich fight kind of sticks in your mind. I'm a Tai Tuivasa fan, but the fight that always sticks out to me is the JDS fight, man. And JDS just used his foot movement and set him up so perfect when he ended up finishing Ty. He literally just kept bouncing around the ring and had Ty kind of chasing him, and kind of stepped off, hit him with like a slap left hook, and let him in with a right hand counter, and it was beautiful. And once Ty got on his back, he was a fish out of water, like literally just throwing punches up in the air, because he had no idea what to do when he was on the ground. I think if he ends up in a situation like that against Sergey Pavlovich, I think Sergey gets the finish, especially if he's willing to lean on his chin a little bit too much. If Ty is, I think Sergey gets the win here, man.
All right, fair enough. Just to let you guys know that is a big wish from me. I do understand the problem that an 84-inch reach for Sergey Pavlovich. The only other rival is John Jones in the UFC. Tough reach to get past, dude. But dude, I think I have to pick Ty from just strict fandom, dude. Like, the dude is a heavyweight slugger, does not go for a takedown, is more dangerous once you hurt him. And if he knocks you out, dude, he's going to drink beer out of a shoe on top of the cage, dude. How can you not be a fan of Tai Tuivasa? Just a fat, sloppy, heavyweight drinking beers out of shoes, dude. You have to be a fan of Tai Bam Bam Tuivasa. So moving on up, dude, we got 15 motherfucking fights, dude. I feel like wins the co-main event, dude. I just keep reading them, and the co-main event's never here. Matthias Nicolau taking on Danger Match Snell, dude. And I believe the odds for this card, for this fight, is way out of whack, dude. I believe Matthias Nicolau wins, dude. But do I think he should be like a 4-1 favorite? No, because Matt Schnell's he's okay. You know, he ain't the best. I think Matthias Nicolau via finish, dude. I think he gets danger Matt Schnell out of there because Matt Schnell gets hurt every fight. He just runs into the fire, dude.
Yeah, Matt Schnell definitely does, and then that Sumadarji fight. I mean, I went back and I watched that like multiple times, just watching all the damage that he took, and at certain points during that fight, I was like, man, this fight really needs to be stopped. Never was, and he was able to just go out there, show the grit, show the chin, and he was able to get Sumadarji out of there. But I do think Mateus Nicolau, as you said, that dude, he's one of those hammers that's on his way up in the flyweight division, and he's definitely gonna be a tough matchup for him. You know, he's been on a little bit of a win streak here as of late. Yeah, Matt Schnell, he's definitely fun. You were right. About 4-1. Mateus Nicolau minus 400. Matt Schnell plus 285. But line's a little heavy for me to bet, so I'm not going to put any money on it. But I do think Mateus Nicolau is the rightful winner here.
Like, you think he finishes him, or you think this goes to decision?
I think it probably goes to decision. If you look at Nicolau's last couple fights, it's gone to decision when he hasn't been able to submit anybody. I do think Matt Schnell, he's got good wrestling, and I do think that that's one thing that he could rely on. You know, his wrestling defense to save him from submission. But I do think that Nicolau has the more skills overall and more clean defensively, and I think that's what kind of helps him get the win here.
All right. Moving on up, dude. Co-main event, Rafael Dos Anjos taking on Brian Bam Bam Barberina. We got 2 Bam Bams, 1 card, dude. Can you believe it?
Bam 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 Bam. Now it actually sounds like Bam Bam from the Flintstones.
RDA via decision. That's how I'm going. How about you? What are the odds?
Man, the odds here are crazy. So RDA is a minus 620 favorite. Biggest favorite on the card by on the card by.
He beat the shit out of I like Moicano, and I like Moicano is pretty good, dude.
Yeah, no, Moicano's good. Took the fight on 2 weeks' notice or a week's notice. I'm sorry. Which that is, and I admitted even before his last fight that was a gangster move by Moicano to take that fight on that short of notice against such a dangerous fight. And I picked RDA against Fiziev. So I'm not here to doubt RDA by any chance. In me, I'm one of the bigger RDA fans around here. I'm also a fan of Brian Bam Bam Barberina. I guess my thing is I just don't think the line should be that big. But I do think that RDA is the more skilled. But I think that the one thing that Bam Bam can do is end up making guys fight his type of fight. Getting in there, getting in a brawl. He just stands in their face and he'll just start throwing them hooks, and he'll just start slashing with elbows. And it's almost like once he gets in the phone booth, it's like a magnetic pull from his opponent, and they just get stuck in this phone booth, and they just have to fight it out in the phone booth together, and survival of the fittest wins. And I think that RDA is going to try his best to stay away from that. Really, that's Brian Barberina's best path to victory is making it a dogfight, because if not, I think RDA keeps it clean and gets the decision here. So I do think RDA by decision is the pick to go with.
I think RDA still has the power advantage, even though shorter reach and minus 500 favored. Older, shorter reach and shorter, and like a huge favorite. That doesn't even make sense, dude. I don't know, dude. I guess if you feel confident in, I like fucking Brian, I like fucking Bam Bam here, dude. You might be some money I like to be made. I just don't see him getting it done. No chance, dude. RDA's
no. I mean, if you're a risky bettor, I mean, it's definitely worth it, because I think that RDA now, as good as I was just telling you, I picked him in his last few fights, but that was also 155. At 170, he's definitely been a little bit more up and down. So at that type of odds, hell, it'd be worth throwing just a 5 or a 10 at Brian Barberena and see if he can get you a good, $40-$50 out of it. So
maybe, dude, maybe. Moving on up, main event of the night. Thank goodness, dude, I'm done talking about this damn card. It is a good card, though. There's a lot of good fighters on it, a lot of names on, dude. I'm glad we have some fights to talk about. But we got our main event, the Trailblazer, Kevin Holland, taking on the Wonder Boy or the Karate Hottie, depending on your preference, Stephen Thompson, dude. 16-6 and 23-8, dude. Kevin Holland has more fights than Wonder Boy, believe it or not, and he's like fucking 30 years old. So dude, I see this, dude. I just, first of all, I don't see a way that Kevin Holland loses this fight, and here's why. Dude, it's like, if this is on the feet and Kevin Holland is touching up like fucking Wonder Boy, what is he going to do? There's no other path. He's just going to get knocked out. That's his thing. As where if Wonder Boy is maybe touching up Holland just a tad, he has grappling to go to. We've seen him shoot for takedowns before. Maybe not always fucking get them. Maybe not the best, but he will do it. I've never seen Wonder Boy shoot for a takedown ever. I just don't think he has it in him, dude. That being said, dude, I got Kevin Holland, probably some form of club and sub or by decision. How you see this going?
Yeah, I think tough fight. I think Kevin Holland coming off of that Hamzat fight, no one's going to take any stock away from him because we know the circumstances in which he took the fight and everything, and I still think he went in for the glove touch and Hamzat went in for the takedown at the same time. So I'd like to have seen Kevin Holland maybe a little bit more prepared for the takedown, see what he maybe could have done, maybe with his submission defense. But he is the more well-rounded fighter. I think the only thing that Kevin Holland does that gets him in trouble is he tends to overreach on a lot of his punches. He'll get super sloppy, and it's almost hard for him to find the range, and he'll just stand in the pocket and throw these hooks, and he gets himself off balance a lot. I think if you go in there and get yourself off balance against, just such a precise striker like Wonder Boy, he could set you up for some danger. But I just don't think that Wonder Boy just has that pep in his step anymore. I don't know if maybe some of the losses, some of the damage that he's taken, he doesn't have that same, just I guess, that fast fiber twitch muscle that he used to when he first came into the UFC. I do think that Kevin Holland gets it done here, but there's something to look out for. He does get a little sloppy when he's going to throw some hooks. If he gets himself off balance here, that's something that Stephen Thompson could take advantage of. But as long as he keeps it clean, Kevin Holland should be the pretty easy win here for him. And you can get Kevin Holland, you can get him at -156. You can get Stephen Thompson at +122 on FanDuel right now. Pretty good line for Kevin Holland. I'm definitely going to try to take advantage of that, and I think Kevin Holland gets it done.
What's Kevin Holland by sub?
Kevin Holland by sub. I know sometimes they don't release the props in the middle of the week, but
it's out
we
there.
actually do.
It's out there.
I was saying we do have some props. Yeah, we do have some props right here. You can get Kevin Holland by submission at +750 right now. So pretty
not bad.
Pretty good odds if somebody wants to throw like a 5 at it or something.
Like that's the same odds that Tai Tuivasa by knockout in round 2 or 3 at is also +750 on FanDuel, because your boy ain't able to get back into his DraftKings because his account got fucking hacked, dude. So I don't know what the fuck's up with that shit, dude. I am strictly betting on fucking FanDuel because I can't get back in my fucking DraftKings account. So it is what it is. So FanDuel bettors over here. So yeah, dude. So Tai Tuivasa, round 2-3 KO, I like a lot. It's like plus like 750, something like that. I also like Kevin Holland by sub. I like that as well, dude. Probably a few picks for me for the week. You got any locks for the weekend, dude, that you feel really comfortable in?
Honestly, we might have disagreed on a lot of them. I don't really feel too comfortable about too many of them, except for if you put like on a parlay, I would say maybe Kevin Holland, and if you go Pavlovich, maybe like a knockout or decision. I have a hard time seeing that fight go to decision though. I don't know why, but and most of the time I'm pretty decision safe here for the most part. But yeah, I have a tough time seeing Pavlovich. So I say if you put maybe like a parlay with Holland and Pavlovich, that might get you some pretty decent odds. But those are the only two that I really feel confident in.
There's a few. Let me see if I have one of these parlays right here. That'll tell you what I have the majority of them in. Yeah, I have a few 7 legs, I think, consisting of Yasmin Haregi, JSP Pierce, Angie Overkill Hill, Eric Anders, Rafael dos Anjos in round 3 or decision, and Kevin Holland straight up, dude. And then here's a 4-leg. Well, that's got tied to Avasaba fucking second round knockout. So let's not get into that one. So yeah, dude. There's some money to be made like this weekend. Not a whole bunch because I'm not too confident in the method of victory this week, as where, some weeks I'm like, dude, he's getting subbed, or fucking she's getting subbed, or this guy's for sure getting knocked out. Like we called it like a few weeks ago, dude. Roman Dolidze by knockout, and that's exactly how I fucking played that, dude. Like, it's just there, dude. So Yasmin Horigi by decision, probably what I'm the most comfortable in, for the week. But I'm sure it's not too great of odds. Also Jack Hermanson by decision is also like plus 115. So there's really no money there either, but those are probably the 2 plays that I'm probably the most confident in for the week. But yeah, anything else before we get out of here, man? Are you ready to fucking hit the road?
Nah, man. We milked this thing a little bit, a little longer than I thought we would. But
that's because, like at the beginning, I was like, "Damn, dude, he's like." I forgot what it was, but I was like, damn, is he really talking about this long? I was just asking about the fucking news, and he's going on about this shit for like 10 minutes. I was like, all right. But yeah, man. Appreciate all y'all watching. If you watched all the way this far, thank you very much. If you haven't already, thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are not. Leave all your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. And yeah, dude, we got UFC 282 next weekend, yeah, and then one more, and then that's it for the year, right?
Yeah, I think it's UFC Orlando, UFC 282, and then that last card, I think on the 17th, it's Cannoneer and Strickland.
Yeah, so then and like fucking then we got a break until like fucking mid-January, yeah, or some shit like that.
Yeah, I think like second, third week of January.
Yeah, so probably just a couple more shows for us here this year on the Golden Octagon MMA podcast. But dude, we are coming up on our 2-year anniversary. Yeah, we've done this for full 2 years this upcoming fucking January, dude, and we'll be starting on goddamn year 3, dude. So shit to look forward to. Pretty cool. It's kind of flying by at this point. Like we aren't at it every single week, but we're at it fucking most weeks, and we did take a little break last year. I'm not gonna lie, fucking once fucking football started, Dorian's like, man, fuck that shit.
we had to work on some scheduling and stuff, but now that we got that down, we're gonna keep that consistency up. So that was that was a plan, and we got the move, had to get a little bit of a different setup, but we bike, man. We bike.
Yeah, man. Next year, Dorian will have a background. I'll make sure of that. That's going to be all for us here this time. Matt Anderson, Dorian Rose on the other side of your screen. Catch us next week for the Golden Octagon MMA podcast. I believe this also, Dorian, was episode 50, by the way. I'm not sure if I'm 100% sure, but I believe this was episode 50. Also, our record breaking last week had a massive 86 viewers and a whole 6 thumbs ups. So last week's podcast was fucking awful, dude. I think 2 of the accounts are mine. So.
One of them was mine.
All right, man. I'll catch you later. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.